Hello, 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 y'all. I was gonna try to come on here today and do my intro and flip my fan. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Oh my, oh. I have my lip balm and my lip gloss. I gotta get ready for this video. We brought back the powdered donut lip balm because what I just watched, mind blown. Mind blown, what I just watched. Especially knowing the story and what I knew of the story and what I had heard of the story and how it got kind of blown up at the time. Now seeing what really happened, I am blown away. I am absolutely blown away. So, let me tell you what happened, okay? I actually had a very simple, funny video that I was going to do today over here about Jaclyn Hill. So we'll save that for tomorrow. But I got up today and I opened my Instagram and I started getting all these DMs from people that were talking about Nikita Dragun. And I was like, hold on, I gotta let my lip balm bake. Ooh. Oh my, I have not seen anything like this. It has been a minute. And I watch a lot of true crime. I watch a lot of arrest bookings. I mean, I feel like I see a lot of this on a regular basis because of just the kind of TV shows, the I don't know, the shenanigans and the true crime and the thrillers that I watch, but this was next level. This was absolutely next level. So, I start getting all these DMs from people asking me to talk about this released body cam footage from the police that arrested Nikita Dragun in 2022. And I'm like, okay, wait. It's been 3 years. It's 2025. Why are people reaching out to me about this? And it was about like the 5th or 6th. I mean, I'm not even lying when I tell you. I probably got 20 or 30 DMs about this when I decided to make this video. I don't even know how many more I've gotten since then. But finally, by the 5th or 6th one, somebody linked the video. So I went and I looked, and I was like, oh, it's a new video that just came out. Because I thought it was just kind of like, they had released some footage back in the day. So, for those of you that do not know the story, Nikita Dragun, I believe it was in, like, March of 2022. I don't know the exact date. Could be getting it wrong. But she was in Miami, Florida, and she was at a hotel, and she had, like, gone out and partied that night, and she was allegedly drunk, and she was walking around naked around the pool. And one of the security guards came up to her and said, you know, like, ma'am, you can't be walking around the pool naked. Like, you need to put clothes on. This isn't appropriate. We've got to ask you to leave if you're going to do that. She threw water on the security guard. And then she continued to be defiant towards the security guard. So the security guard called the Dade County Police and had them show up. And so then the Dade County Police showed up. Some of this I had seen before. And so, but only like little small clips of it that I think were on the news or something. So then they go to her hotel room and they knock on the door and they show all of this and what I'm about to tell you. So anyway, so they go to her hotel room and man, I was going to do an intro and everything. Listen, I was ready today to do an intro. I did this 2 videos yesterday. I didn't do intros. People were like, I missed your intro, but I just sat here and just watched this video and I was like, I just got to get in and start talking about this because there is so much. I haven't even gotten to the comments yet because I was like, no, people were telling me, they were like, the comments are not good. So I was like, well, we'll just read them in real time and I'll react to them. So anyway, so the police show up. They talk to the security guard outside. I don't remember seeing that footage before where the security guard is explaining what happened. I remember seeing the footage of outside of her hotel room. And so they go to her hotel room and she won't open the door at first, but finally she opens the door. And the police are talking about a noise disturbance, and they confront her about not wearing clothes around the pool. And she starts getting really disrespectful to the security guard, and she's like, I won't talk to you. And then she's really degrading to the police officers, and then she just closes the door on them and just, like, walks back inside. So the police officers are asking the security guard, they're like, well, what do you want us to do? Because they said something to her about, like, throwing water on the security guard. And she said something like, yeah, and I'll do it again. Or something like that. I mean, the level of entitlement. So, at the time that I covered it, and I do believe that I covered it, the big story about this was that Nikita Dragun had been arrested at this hotel for being drunk and being disorderly. and that there was a noise complaint, and then also she was walking around this pool naked. When she was booked, the huge story at that time was that Nikita Dragun, who identifies as female and is trans, that she was booked and put into the male population in the Dade County Jail. And it was like this huge story at this time. I mean, people were coming out. People were like, this is horrible that Miami did this to a trans woman. I mean, it was a huge, huge, huge story at the time. And so to watch this footage back, like, is very surprising. It's very surprising. Especially to kind of see their treatment of Nikita Dragun, because I thought, well, we'll get into that in just a second. So anyway, so that was the story at the time. And the story kind of blew up because, like, when she got arrested, she went before the judge and she asked to be moved to a different population because she had been put in with the men, she said, and she identified as female and she was trans. And that was, like, the huge story at the time. To find out that they gave her a $2,000 bail, which is probably one of the smallest bails I've ever heard of in my entire life. But then they released her on her own recognizance, so they wouldn't have even had to move her anywhere. Not to mention that the footage shows that she was never part of any kind of general population. She was always in a room by herself, always. I mean, the body cam footage shows, like, each time they move her. So it's interesting, the story that was fed to the press. I don't know if that was who that was done by, but in watching it now, I'm kind of blown away, honestly. And Nikita Dragun hasn't been in the news lately. I covered her, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and said, somebody had asked me what I thought about her, and I was like, is she even making videos anymore? And she came out, and I think she had done some video like a year or two ago about, like, all she had gone through, not just with this, but other things in her life. And it was very relatable. It was a good video. I think she's working with, like, a contact company now, or she started a contact company or something like that. And she's not super active on social media as much as she used to be. So anyway, I just was like, why is she in this? So anyway, so that was the story at the time. So I start watching this video. So let me get in. So people were sending this to me, and they were like, Peter, you've got to talk about it. I could probably go into my Instagram right now, and I bet you anything I have more people that are reaching out to me telling me that I need to talk about this. Hold on just a second. I'm sure that there are even, here it is, Nikita Dragun's unreleased body cam footage. The comments on the video aren't nice. Maybe you can cover in today's drama video. I have no idea what the comments say yet, but I will say this. When I saw the original footage years ago, I thought she seemed drunk. I thought she seemed disorderly. Not on the level that they show in this body cam footage. So, before we get into this, the channel is called, I don't know anything about this channel, it's called EWU Bodycam. And let me read you just a little bit about this channel. So channel description says, welcome to EWU Bodycam. Here we post never before seen body cam footage, analyze body cam footage, and more. We're a news agency committed to delivering factual information about police procedures and local news events. Our videos aim to educate the public without bias. Our goal is to empower viewers with a clear understanding of what's happening in their communities. And then underneath this video, they have a description, and it says, in today's body cam video, we're covering the arrest of YouTuber influencer Nikita Dragun. We're a news agency committed to delivering factual information about police procedures and local news events. This video aims to educate the public without bias. Our goal is to empower viewers with a clear understanding of what's happening in their communities. This is news piece in the public's interest. This video is created with the intent of educating the public. So I go in and I start watching this, and it's body cam footage from the police, and then they narrate through it. They talk about what happened at the beginning of it. So it's like a 17-minute video. It's very tightly done, and it explains the whole thing that happens from the very beginning to the very end of it. And then the whole thing in between is all body cam footage from the police that arrested her, to the police in the room where she's being held, and things like that. The police that transport her. I'm sure it's not obviously the entire body cam footage, but it's a lot of it. And so at the point that they go to the hotel room and she closes the door, she's like talking, like, she's very patronizing to the security guard. And so, and I will say, like, before they get to the hotel room, he said some kind of disrespectful things about her. But then the police officers are very nice to her, and they're like, you threw water on him, and she just closes the door. And so they knock on the door again, and they're like, because they asked the security guard, like, do you want her removed or whatever? So they open the door. So she opens the door again, and they are like asking her these questions. I know people are going to get into the minute details of exactly what she said, so I don't want to get into that because like I literally just watched it and I'm responding to it. I was going to do a live reaction to it, but I didn't want to just like hold up my phone or an iPad the whole time while I was reacting to it. And I also wanted people to go watch it and make up their own minds about it. So anyway, in there, she starts getting into it with the police officers, and the security guard says something about, you threw water at me, and she goes, do you want me to do it again? And she throws water at the security guard again. Well, at that point, they put her under arrest, and they cuff her, and she's like speaking really horribly to the police officer. The police officer is like, ma'am, you got me wet as well. And she's like, you don't like getting wet? You don't like, I mean, it's and then she like throws herself down the floor, and she's like, I fell. And then they're like, can you get up? And she's like, I fell from heaven, or fell from the angels. It's very, very bizarre. And then they take her downstairs and they remove her from the hotel. They like cover her up and they get her removed from the hotel. And so a lot of it, I guess she was talking to the security guard about being VIP, because at the beginning of it, he's like, I don't care if she's VIP. I don't care what kind of money she has and all this kind of stuff. So then I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So let me turn this down really quick, because I want to make sure that I go through this the way that they show it in the video. Hold on just a second. Then they take her to the police station to book her. And, okay, hold on a second. Get this. So yeah, so the beginning part, they show her, like, in the hotel room, and she's like, she says to the security guard, Silencio, Leon, Silencio. I mean, she's talking so disrespectfully to these people. So then they take her to, so they read the statement on here, and they say, hold on a second. It says November 7th, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to read you the statement of what it says. Miami, Florida, they go respond to a luxury hotel, and the security guard around the pool area, as a minor incident quickly escalates into a felony charge or something like that. I mean, you guys, this is so bad. So, hold on a second. Where's the November 7th thing? It's coming up here. Hold on a second. Okay. November 7th, 2022. So it's a 911 call. So then they show going to the police, bringing her out of the hotel. Let me get to that part. And then they book her at, went into a commercial. Then they book her and they take her to the police department. While they're at the police department, they have her change clothes. And she's like, the whole time she's talking to this female officer. Oh, downstairs at the hotel, they bring a female officer out to like escort her to like into the van and things like that. She's real disrespectful to the female officer. I mean, just everything she's saying to all these people is so disrespectful. I mean, you can tell that she's drunk, but I wouldn't say, like, she seems drunk. Like, I mean, she just is really disrespectful. So they take her to the police station, and they have her change clothes, and the whole time she's changing clothes, she's talking to this police officer, and she's using, I mean, she's just being very derogatory about her own body, and she's being derogatory about the female officer's body, and things like that. And so they have her change into clothes, and they cuff her with one hand to this bench. And while she's sitting there, they ask her 3 times during this. At the beginning, they ask her how she identifies, and she says male. At the police station, the female officer says, how would you like to be identified? And she says male. She actually says a lot more than that. She says, like, my mother effing ID says M for male. Male, men run the world, or something like that. And so then again, when they transport her, they ask, how does she want to be identified? And the guard says, well, I think it says something like she presents as female, but she says she wants to be, the female officer says that she wants to be identified as male. And then Nikita Dragun says something again. She says something about male. So on 3 different incidences, Nikita Dragun herself, why I'm bringing this up is, it's interesting to me that that was the part of the story that got blown up, because they ask her, I mean, at that point, she was by herself the whole time. In this scene, she is spitting on her handcuffs to try to get it removed. She gets like one finger removed from the handcuffs. So the guards come over, it's female guards, they come over and they cuff her other hand to the bench. While they're doing that, she kicks her leg out from her pants, okay? So then the other guard comes back, and then she starts saying stuff. I mean, the language is so horrible, I can't even use it. Then she's sitting up like this, and she talks about how she has to pee. And then she literally just urinates all over the floor as she's just sitting there on this bench. She also urinates again in the van as they're transporting her to the jail. This is like a holding cell that they have her in. Then they transport her to the jail, and she urinates again in the van. They have, like, offered to, like, let her go to the bathroom. I mean, she says, I have to go to the bathroom. They let her go into, they show her in a stall changing where she says before that, can I go to the bathroom? They're not restricting her from going to the bathroom. So it's interesting to me. The other thing I noticed and for those of you that do not know, I worked as a liaison between a treatment department and Department of Corrections for almost 13 years. I worked with probation officers, parole officers. I went to probation departments. I went to jails. I went to, all holding cells to do assessments. The way that she is treated, in all honesty, just my perspective of just watching, I'm not talking about Nikita Dragun. I'm not talking about a trans woman. I'm just talking about guards treating somebody that is being this disrespectful to them. They're actually rather kind and sensitive to her. I mean, I have seen guards and I have seen police officers that, I mean, and I have dealt with my fair share of police officers that I think are not on the up and up, and I have dealt with some fantastic police officers that are very humane and compassionate. And I think that at both times, like, she's so disrespectful and nasty, pushy, pulling, I mean, the whole time through all of it, it's baffling to me. I mean, it's absolutely baffling to me that they even released her on her own recognizance. So the whole time she's in this thing, and she's in there, and she starts putting down this female officer while she's being held. I mean, the part where she's being held is probably the worst. And then she's talking about, she does this whole thing about Game of Thrones and talking about, I mean, she brings up, like, a lot. I don't even really know how to say it. I mean, she talks about cum, and it's very disrespectful. And then they transport her, and the whole time she's transporting her, it just gets even more and more and more intense. And so then they transport her, and then it says her charges are felony battery on a police officer, misdemeanor battery, misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Bond was set at $2,000. Now, for any of you out there that know anything about the legal system, $2,000 for those 3 charges is really, really minor, okay? I mean, really, really minor. And then it goes in and it talks about, hold on a second, it says in here, I'm going to make sure I get this correctly. She's here the whole time in the background, she's screaming and yelling. Nikita was booked, they show her thing. According to news sources, her charges, again, were felony battery on a police officer, misdemeanor battery, misdemeanor disorderly conduct. I mean, she got felony battery on a police officer, and she got released on her own recognizance, and before it was a $2,000 bond. And then it says, oh, shoot, I just keep on getting out of here. Released on her own recognizance. It says something about that. And it says, despite correctional facility, Nikita, they go through this whole thing where she says that she identifies as male, so that's how they booked her, as male. And it goes in this whole thing. However, they said that they made a mistake in booking her and the intake, and that's how the whole news story came out. And then it kind of just shows the end of it. I thought it was just, I don't know. It's interesting that none of this was released before. I think had this been released 3 years ago, I think that the public outcry, I think, might have been a little bit different. I think that, I don't know. I just, like, it's so bizarre watching it. I mean, obviously, she's intoxicated. Obviously, she is not of her right mind in this moment. And I know she's come out and she's spoken about things since about all that. And I feel for her in that moment. But it's really hard to watch it. I mean, it's really, really hard to watch it. There's not really ever a moment in there where, I mean, it's not just like, I'm rightfully being arrested and this is not fair. I mean, it is derogatory. It is nasty. It is entitled. I mean, she is so disrespectful to the security guard at the hotel, to the people working at the hotel, to the people in the hallway, to the other police officers, to the people that, I mean, she's so disrespectful to everybody in this entire situation. And obviously, I know she's intoxicated. I know she's not in her right mind. I know she's got other things going on that she's come out and talked about since. But I don't know, like, I can't even imagine watching this back if I were her. So let me just tell you that in 24 hours, it was filmed 21 hours ago, it was posted, 400,000 views on this, which this is actually not one of their highest viewed videos. I mean, 400,000 views in 21 hours is pretty good, but they get pretty good views in their videos. Has 4.9 thousand comments. So I'm just going to go on here and read the top comments going down. The top comment is, I take a fair bit of pride in the fact that I often have no idea who these famous people are. The next comment is from the security guard. The security guard said, she's a VIP, but I don't give a fuck. Finally, someone treating people how they should, regardless of their wealth. Somebody said, one of the social media's most recognizable faces. I don't know who this person is, and I feel like I'm better off for it. Somebody said, because she has this whole Game of Thrones thing, and it's not pretty. I mean, you would have to watch it. But somebody said, when the officer said, girl, this is not Game of Thrones, I died laughing. Somebody said, stop making stupid people famous. Somebody said the security guard had me in tears. Fold her up, because he says at the beginning of it, fold her up and put her in pancake batter. Somebody said the attitude, the entitlement, the abusive nature, the peeing on the floor, what a disturbed and disgusting individual. Somebody said, as a woman that spent a lot of time watching makeup influencers growing up, I'm sad to say we know this diva, but not sad to say that we do not claim her. I think that's interesting. Somebody said, that's what happens when the society makes the wrong person feel like they're special and famous. I mean, she's so entitled, talking about her followers. Because at one point, the security, one of the booking officers said something about, what do you think your followers are going to say about that? And she says, they will speak my name. They will shout my name. It's like really embarrassing. I mean, I don't know. Somebody said, Nikita going from being an influencer meme videos to body cam videos. What an upgrade. The audible sigh from the female officer, we all felt that way just watching this. It was hard. It was really, this was a hard watch. The one lady flirting with the first officer, well, that was kind of funny. So there's this lady that works in the hotel when the officer comes by, and she goes, well, hi, Leon. That was kind of funny. Somebody said, this was the most cringe body cam footage I have ever witnessed. It was. I mean, we hear things about, like, the Real Housewives of Potomac, the DUI arrest body cam footage. And it's like, you see this, and it's like, this is bad. I mean, this is really, really bad. And I think if it had come out at the time, I think things would have been much, much worse for Nikita. I really, really do. I mean, it kind of blows me. It was hard to watch, you know? Somebody said, the guy at the beginning is just a normal, hardworking dude. He deserves respect, too. I'm happy he wasn't taking that nonsense from her. Delusional levels of self-importance and misogyny towards the female cop. What an amazing person this is. Somebody said, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. They're all kind of the same comments. What a foul person. Somebody said, girl, this is not Game of Thrones. Nikita says, at least mine is real. And the security guard says, act right and you can get water. I mean, like, she keeps on asking for water, and the officer's like, if you, like, act right, like, I'll give you water. She's being so disrespectful to this officer. I mean, she's body shaming her. I mean, it's bad. Somebody said, I'm so glad this was shown. A lot of people are in here talking about, like, the comments of what people are saying about the trans stuff in the thing. Your minutely reminder that most influencers are unhinged narcissists. I don't know about all that. Somebody said, girl, this is not Game of Thrones. I like this cop, somebody said. So sick and tired of VIP influencers and social media stars. Somebody said, Leon must be fine. A lot of people are, because even Nikita Dragun said something to Leon, who works at the thing. Anyway, you're allowed to act like an uncivilized, it says something about you're allowed to act uncivilized in public and only get charged $2,000. The law really is just a tax for the poor. Interesting. Some of the footage has never been seen until now. Talk about an understatement. The previous body cams from all the other channels left out the most outrageous parts. Walking around naked, peeing on body cam, etc. Wow, you guys are truly the best. I don't know how you get this stuff, but I'm glad you do, and I'm glad I subscribed. There were 13 responses to this. Somebody said absolutely. The channel is run by a police department, I believe. Cheers. Right. I searched for this comment. They always come through. I'm trying to watch. Okay. I'm trying to do the same. Talking about not watching body cam footage. It is really hard to watch this. Somebody said Nikita ending up on EWU is not on my 2025 bingo list, but I love it. The sigh from the officer speaks volumes. Just another influencer? Nah, that is just a spoiled child with an army of viewer bots, somebody says. Watching the sassy attitude and weird sexualization out of the internet persona setting is so cringe. Oh my God, the whiplash between the regular people, the cops and the hotel staff, and this delusional influencer is insane. I'm so glad they didn't give in onto their provocations, because that's clearly what Nikita wanted. Literally, main character syndrome. Somebody said, love the security guard. He's as real as it gets. Rare quality these days. Girl, this is not the Game of Thrones. I mean, these comments, I mean, I don't think they're uncalled for, in all honesty. Somebody said, funny how them saying, I want to be identified as a man didn't make it to the news, but pleading to the judge to be put in a women's jail did. So many comments on it. I mean, it'd be a huge risk to put her in a men's jail. I think that a lot more important than whatever garbage they spewed to the police department. And then people are going back and forth about all that. I'm thankful I've never heard of this alleged famous YouTuber. How the system treated one of social media's most recognizable faces. Next thing we see is them pissing on the floor of their own volition. They did this to themselves. Don't even. She was specifically asked, what do you want to identify? And she said, man. She said it 3 times. Then had, it goes on and on and on. Okay. Absolutely disgusting. Somebody said, the way that lady, oh, they're talking about when the guy comes through. I hate influencers so much, gosh. I mean, it really does make influencer culture look really, really bad. Girl, this is not Game of Thrones. A baby in an adult body throwing a tantrum at its finest. I mean, a lot of people on here are commenting about the trans issues, but people aren't being super transphobic in the comments, which is, I mean, there's a few, and I'm not reading those, but I do think it's interesting that people are commenting about it, but they're not saying a whole lot. I mean, Nikita says in here, damn girl, you're thick, you're built like a brick. I mean, they're commenting at the beginning that, one of the comments that's made is that the operator says male or female on the phone, and the hotel staff says, I don't know which one, but it's one of them, is what the security guard says at the beginning. Why do social media stars think they're important? Why? Pretty sad discussing the individuals who act like this are rewarded. What a loser's world we live in. What absolutely vile, disgusting behavior from this VIP. This person was never told no as a child. Girl, this is not Game of Thrones. Imagining Jeffree Star in his mansion watching this dying. It was interesting because I never realized how much Nikita Dragun sounds like Jeffree Star until I watched this body cam footage. I mean, they sound like their cadences and the phrases they say are very, very similar. Goes on to, somebody says on here, I want to be identified as a man, Nikita says, but then also, but they put perp on here, but also she says to the female officer, you're challenging my womanhood. I've never heard of this YouTuber. Somebody said, influencers are like this because they don't know what's real anymore. Imagine being in an echo chamber of yes men that let you get away with anything to real life consequences. It's just really sad to watch, you know? I don't know. I've seen some of Nikita Dragun since then, and I believe that she's changed. I want growth and change for everyone, so I'm not going to hold her to something that happened 3 years ago. I do believe she's probably changed and grown from that. I would hope so. I feel for her having to watch this. I feel for them having to go through it, and I hope that she's humbled herself a little bit, because I think humility does us all a little bit of good in life. It's, as a person that's been sober for over 30 years, it's at, you know, the cornerstone of my recovery. I think it would be really humbling to watch this, and I hope the best for her. I just was blown away. I absolutely was blown away by watching this footage, because it did not match what I knew of the story at the time. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.